the top 5 bucket list races.
Oh, you dog, you.
NASCAR races. So not...
Is it just NASCAR?
Just NASCAR.
Okay.
Yeah, so not tracks, but specifically the race. As we discussed in the last episode.
We haven't... Bucket list items we haven't been to.
Yeah, so, for instance, if you've been to... we've both been to all the Talladegas, but just, for instance, you've been to Talladega, but maybe have been to the spring or the fall, so you could count that. So it's just a race. It's not just the track. It's specifically what race you want to attend. We can do honorable mentions. That's fine. And then we'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 up to our number 1.
Ooh,
and
is it past or present with this new schedule?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Either one. But
deal.
I mean, they still have to run the race though, because if it's bucket list, you need to be able to go attend. You know what I mean?
It's gonna stay on my list.
How would it be a bucket list then? You'll never be able to attend.
Number 5.
Are you going to do any honorable mentions? Anything? Or just straight into your 5? I have a couple honorable mentions. You don't have to.
I have honorable mention.
All right, so you'll start out. You can do your honorable mentions and then do all 5 years, and then I'll do mine as well. So
we're gonna go 5 and 5.
I'll crack another beer for this.
Ooh, this is my last one. So starting with honorable mentions. Auto Club is my honorable mention. I've never want to go to California really ever in my life, but Auto Club is really seasoned into a great racetrack. I always wanted to go there and see a race in person. Never wanted to go to California really, but for the racing I saw there and for its soon to be destined demise, it would have been cool to see just one race in person there. Honorable mention.
That's your honorable mention? Okay. You want to get into your top 5?
I'll start with my number 5.
Here we go. At
number 5,
that's the drums.
I'd honestly put a race at Dover. I'd put a race at Dover. I guess they only have one date now. They only have one date now.
Shit, that's right.
But like, it's just like an oversized Bristol. I see people's videos and pictures. It always kind of looked cool. I know we just went there, but like, Dover's kind of one like. Where, like, we thought, like, I would really wouldn't, like, pay the money and drive my ass up there. But if someone was like, hey, man, I got you a spot or you can come stay with me.
Right. We discussed that last episode. Yeah,
I would totally do it. Dover's my number 5.
Wow. That's a big one. I think that was a surprise. I wasn't expecting Dover. I thought maybe an honorable mention, but wow. Number 5.
I probably could change out that in Auto Club, maybe. I don't know. We're just going to go.
That's fine. Okay. Number 4.
Wait, I thought you were doing 5.
No, you do your top 5.
Oh, my number 4? Oh,
yeah, you go all the way through, and then I'll do mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 4 is going to be Homestead.
Okay.
Race at Homestead.
Makes sense.
Literally, we talked a couple years, me and Nathan and Justin and stuff, we talked about, like, dude, we got to get a championship race at Homestead. We got it. And literally, we could fly down there cheap, or fuck it, we'll drive. I wouldn't drive. We'd fly down there. But it's like, dude, man, a Homestead race is iconic. I always wanted to go to a championship weekend, like a championship weekend.
Back when it was the championship, yeah.
Yes, and man,
was this the one that you were asking if it could be past or present?
No, and we were always talking about going to a championship race weekend there, but even now it's not. Is like, well, I'm less likely to want to fly down there, but I'm scared to death they'll take it off schedule. But as good as it's been getting, I think it's gonna stay.
They can't take it off.
No, but Homestead's been so good, and I always want to go champ race. But Homestead is one I want to go there and like spend a week in Miami and go to the race. Like that'd be so cool.
Hell yeah, yeah! Great location, great racing. Yeah, definitely. All right, number 3.
I could probably. All right, I'm gonna stick with my original thought. Number 3, I always fucking wanted to go to the Brickyard 400 at the Oval at Indy. That was the one I said is it past or present. And I literally last year said, next year I'm going to the fucking Brickyard. I don't care. I'll fly. I'll drive. I'm going to the Brickyard. And they literally changed it to the road course. And I said, I'm not going to that fucking dumbass race. I literally was like,
that's
that was
fair.
The one,
I'll allow the Brickyard 400. That's
I always wanted to go because I was like, I'd like to check off all the crown jewels. Like
maybe they'll bring it back. I mean,
I was like, I want to check off the crown jewels. And I always wanted to do that. And like, that was one of them in my eyes, my heart as a young 2000s race fan was like, I want to go to the Brickyard. That'd be super cool.
Right.
Tony Stewart used to kill it. Jeff Gordon used to kill it there. I know people, this new generation kind of thought it was stale and boring, but I always appreciated the Brickyard. And now it's gone, so I'm kind of like, well, that sucks. I guess I'm never going to Indy. I'm not going for a fucking road course.
Right. I agree.
So, or Roval, whatever. That was my number 3.
Damn, we're getting into the top 2.
Yeah, I'm kind of tossing up here because I'm like, oh fuck. Ooh, this one's a toughie. I'm gonna say. All right, I know what it is. Number 2. Well, shit. All right, number 2. I feel like I should have had a different number 4 and 5. I'll have another honorable mention.
That's fine. You can go back and do another honorable
All right,
mention.
I'll do another honorable mention. Just missed the top 5. Number 2 is gonna be.
Why don't you what's your honorable mention? You just throw it out right now because it'll hype up your 1 and 2.
I have 2 2s. I have 2 number 2s.
You can't do 2 number 2s. This
2 number
bullshit.
2s. I have a 2.
You can't do 2 number 2s.
Honorable mention. All right, number 2, Michigan. I've always wanted to go to Michigan. It's the Northern Talladega.
Number 2. Wow.
It always seemed fun as fuck. And the honorable mention for this that I had to sacrifice was Watkins Glen. I always wanted to go to Watkins Glen because I've never been to a road course race, and I hear it's fucking wild there too. It just missed the cut. I don't know. It's in New York. That kind of bums me out. I don't ever want to go to New York. But as we roll off that honorable mention, number 1.
Oh, number 1.
A track I've never been to. It's on the bucket list. I've postponed it like 4 years in a row due to like lack of friends going and like just bullshit.
Texas.
COVID is Martinsville. Never been to Martinsville. Always wanted to go. Always wanted to go to the fall race.
Which
spring school.
The night race?
I'm gonna say the fall race, the playoff race. I've always wanted to go to Martinsville. Never been. Maybe I'll go this year. Maybe I'll go next year. For the last 4 years, I said this year I'm going to Martinsville.
Not the night race.
No, the night race is in the spring.
Yeah, but still.
Well, I feel like the playoff
Under the lights?
I feel like the playoff race is going to be more bang for your buck because you're getting 3 races and it's the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The playoffs, you got all those highlights. The spring race, you got.
Sometimes, at least for me, the playoffs, watching from home and keeping up with it is fun. But in terms of like going to a race, I'm kind of like, I don't care at that. I just want to watch a good race, have a good time. The same thing with
Talladega fall race is I'm so into the points and what's going on and who's got to do what. But when you're at the race, you can't keep up with that shit.
Yeah,
like, you're just watching the race.
I want a good race.
What happened after?
Yeah.
So like the playoff Talladega race, when you're there, you're like, I'll find out when I get home or on the ride home.
Right, because you're not keeping up with it. Yeah, 100%.
All right,
okay.
Let's roll on yours.
Well, you want to recap yours? Are you even able to, since you just kind of winged
I'm
it?
absolutely able to. Honorable mention was Auto Club and Watkins Glen. Honorable mentions, I'd love to go to those races. We'll never go to those races. Maybe I'll go Watkins Glen one day. But Auto Club, I'll never see. Maybe a future short track. That's one that's going to be in the future honorable mention. Number 5 was Dover. Good old big wannabe short track. Number 4. What did I say?
Oh, man.
Number 4, I said Homestead. I said Homestead. I've always wanted to go to the champ race, and I'd go to Homestead. I still think that Homestead's more doable than Dover in my eyes. Number 3, I always want to go to Brickyard. Fuck Roval racing. It's only good at Charlotte.
Brickyard 400.
Yeah, I wanted to go to the Brickyard 400. Number 2 was Michigan, my Northern Talladega. My Yankee friends, help me out. My stock car spectacle boys. Number 1 was Martinsville. Never been to Martinsville. It's my number 1 bucket list race. I'll fucking go up there by myself if I have to. I'm gonna go to Martinsville one day.
Yeah. So that's a good list. Yeah, I agree with everything you said, pretty much. I
could have subbed Michigan for Watkins Glen. Those two were like
okay. So yeah, differ. Just kind of in order, but pretty much agree with everything you said. The difference is you've been to a lot more races or different races than me.
I may have been to some on your bucket list.
You have. I think you've been to quite a few. I think. I don't know. Actually, we'll see.
Maybe I can give my 2 cents on how they are.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to.
That would be great. These are the races that Always wanted to attend. They
Yeah.
just whenever I talk to a NASCAR fan and they're like, "What races do you want to go to?" I'm like, "These are the ones I want to go to. I don't know if I'll be able to make them this year, but eventually, these are the
One
races
year.
I'm getting to." Yeah,
That's one
exactly.
thing is like, well, I could go to this race, but I'm going to have to sacrifice one of my normal races to go to these races or something.
Exactly, and it's like so much further. You're gonna spend
Yeah,
more
it's like,
money. So when it comes down to it, you're like, I mean, I could just go to my normal races that I do
yeah,
every
I could
year,
just
and
go
I
to Atlanta.
know,
I could just go to Texas. It's like,
yeah,
or I could not go to those and go to this race.
right. So yeah, it's a little bit different. In the last episode, I listed off the best cities to live if you're a NASCAR fan because I live in Austin, and although we have a fucking race right down the road this weekend, so not a good
How
example.
far is the track from your house?
It's pretty far. They built it way outside the city.
Oh.
We can, I mean, shit. You know what? I'll get more into that.
All right.
I'll get more into that when we talk
I'm
about Coda.
itching for gossip.
Yeah, I'll talk. I'll give you some gossip on it.
All
So
right.
my honorable mentions, I actually have them written down because I come prepared every episode, unlike Dakota.
Yeah, you do.
Honorable mentions, I would say Las Vegas, just because it's Las Vegas.
Oh,
I mean,
man, that one could have made the cut.
right. Michigan, as you mentioned, I've heard it's a really fun place to go.
That's your honorable mention?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Like I said, you've been to more like races than me, so I have some shit on here that I'm sure you've been to. So I gotta, yeah.
Okay,
anyway, Michigan, heard it's a really fun track. Love to go, and it's one that isn't necessarily a bucket list track for me, at least on my top 5. But if I was doing a top 10, it would be on there. That kind of thing, where it's like it'd be fun if I could get the chance.
Down the road, these are like some races we need to be like, hey, next year, me and you, we're gonna meet in Michigan and we're gonna fly up there.
That's true. We should
let's
put
plan
our lists together and how they're ranked and be like, okay, which ones match up? We're gonna go to this one this year. We don't have to do all of them right away, but we're gonna start knocking these things off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michigan, heard it's fun. A lot of people up north love it, so give it a try. I think it's in what town is it? Is it in Brooklyn, Michigan, or something weird like that? Yeah. And then this one was just outside my top 5, and in my honorable mentions was Miami Homestead, as you mentioned. You're in Miami, so I mean, fucking awesome place to be, regardless.
Right.
With some of the best racing, in my opinion. I love the racing there. I mean, me just talking about it, I'm like, man, maybe this should have been in my top 5 because I would love to go to this race. And I think I put it right outside my top 5, probably just because it's not the championship race anymore. But either way, still be a great place to go. So number 5, Martinsville, night race.
Okay.
I want to see it under the lights. I know you like the idea of the playoffs and all this stuff, and I'd like to see it under the lights. They added the lights. I think it'd be really cool. And obviously Martinsville, I think is a top track for any NASCAR fan to want to go to. So
yeah,
not much.
I'm surprised I haven't been, honestly. Like, I'm like, why haven't I gone?
Yeah, that's one of those tracks, definitely. And I mean that's the one where it was just. I was like, I just want to go to this track, but I have to pick a race because we're doing like top races instead of just tracks. So that's what I picked. Can you hear my dogs barking?
I can.
Yeah. We're watching my brother's dog. We have, he has a hound dog.
They'll say it sounds like a blue tick hound or some shit.
Yeah, so we have 3 dogs in this apartment.
Damn, what a weekend to be watching dogs.
And one is a hound dog. So Martinsville, there you go. That's my number 5. Number 4. This one's probably, maybe it's controversial. Speaking of which, Nathan says he'll never go there, is the Coca-Cola 600. I really want to go to the Coke 600. I know people don't like it. I've never been to the race. It's in Charlotte. It is the only 600, so it's the longest you're going to be able to watch a race. And I think it's, like celebrities go there. It's like like the Hollywood of NASCAR. It's like that's when people show up.
The Coke 600 on my list.
Why?
Because I'm going to it next weekend.
You son of a bitch.
No, so like I can't wait to go to my first 600 next week. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be awesome. But like I was thinking about it in my top 5. I was like, well, the Coke 600, but I'm like, well, I'm about to check that one off. So why don't I just like not count it and use some of these other juicy races I've always wanted to go to? But I can't wait to check Charlotte off. I've been outside the track. I've just never been to a race there.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so it was going to be on your list, though. That's one that you were.
It would have made
considering.
it, but I didn't
Okay.
count it because I'm about to check it off.
Okay. Yeah. So Coke 600. I
Literally
think
every year, like me and the boys, I've always been like, every year we need to check off a new race or a new track. Like, let's check off and let's go to some random race every year. And this year, I'm lucky enough to get 2 in.
yeah, that's badass.
Yeah.
Number 3. I think you'll like this pick. The Brickyard 400.
Ew, that was my number 3.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
Did you just add that, or was it already on?
No. That's why when you
Okay.
said, "Can we do the like throwback ones?" and I was like, my point was it still has to like technically be at the track. And
Yeah. Dude,
so when you said
was
that was your pick,
I'm
I was
going
like,
to Indy.
when you said that was your pick, that's why I was like, I'll allow that one.
Yeah, I
Because-
literally I was like, I need to go to the Brickyard before they get rid of it. And then they were like, hey, we're going the road course. And I was like, well,
Right.
I guess I'm never going to a Brickyard 400.
I get a lot of people, didn't like the race and all that. I just think just to be able to say that I went to the Brickyard 400 would have been cool. I was a NASCAR fan.
Yeah.
That's
I've
just one of
always
those
wanted to
things.
go.
Yeah. Just one of those things that you can be like, have you been to the Daytona 500? Yes or no? Have you been to
Yeah.
Talladega? And I just feel like the Brickyard 400 was one of those races, regardless of if
Yeah.
you thought it was good
literally,
racing the last couple
bummed
years.
me out when they changed it to the road course.
Yeah. So,
I'm not about it.
all right. Number 2, Bristol night race.
Maybe you can check that one off soon.
Maybe.
I like it. It is for any NASCAR racing fan, it is a must go to.
Yeah.
I put that it is if you're just starting out, if you've always gone and never been to this track, that is a race you should go to.
Yeah. So, I mean, oh, shit. Fake hype. Interesting. Hot take.
For Bristol or Indy?
I don't know. I assume he's talking about for Bristol.
Nathan's one of those new age fans who doesn't appreciate the good old days.
Well, he's just a contrarian. He likes to just argue for the sake of arguing.
That is the perfect word. Whatever the hell that is. That's Nathan.
Contrarian, yeah. Controversial. Is contrary to popular opinion.
Oh God.
So I just think if you're a NASCAR fan, there is 3 tracks or races, whichever one that you have to go to at some point, and it's like Daytona 500, Talladega, and Bristol, preferably the night race. So no surprise, I think, to anybody that it is my number 2. Should be obvious. And then my number 1. You ready for this? I mean, it should be obvious. I think you
just said it.
Yeah. The Daytona 500. I have not been to the Daytona 500. It surprises a lot of people when I'm like, yeah, I'm a NASCAR fan. And they're like, oh, man, is the Daytona 500 fun?
Yeah.
I'm sure it is, man. I don't fucking know. Is the Super Bowl fun? Is the World Series fun? Oh, fuck you, man. Sorry, I haven't been.
We were describing our best races or whatever with Dale Earnhardt. Is the Daytona 500, man. I went to my first one in 2016 with Nathan, the contrarian, and I went to my second one in 2020, and then I went to the 2021 500. And literally, when I went in 2020, I was making, because I've always gone to the July, now August race in Daytona. It's just a no-brainer, Daytona, baby. But I was when I was always young, I was always thought, it's Daytona 500. I can't even afford to go to that. It's crazy. Right. It's a Super Bowl. But now, I'm a grown-ass man. I'm dude, yeah, I can go to Daytona 500. And then now
you got to prepare. You got to plan it out.
Yeah, it's all about planning. And I've got my shit together with these race tickets. And I'm I think till the day I die, I'm going to try to go to the Daytona 500.
Right.
I've already got 2022 tickets lined up. And, I want to go to Daytona 500 every year. I don't give a fuck what I got to do. I'm going to go. And it's worth it. It's totally worth it. You don't go and be like, oh, yeah, I should have come to this shit. It is worth it every fucking time.
That's one that me and you definitely need to work out. I know you're gonna always go, so I just need to figure out how.
You say the word, and you'll have a ticket lined up.
Yeah, well,
we're trying to work out the staying thing. That's the whole thing.
You drive down from Atlanta?
Yeah, it's 6 hours.
Okay, yeah. So I could possibly fly to Atlanta, or just fly to Orlando, probably Jacksonville,
There's
maybe.
a
I don't know.
airport across the backstretch of Daytona.
Yeah, but that's probably expensive, don't you think?
Orlando's
Some
an
like
hour from Daytona.
a small. That's what I'm saying. It's probably like Orlando, probably the cheapest.
I don't know.
Shit.
I mean, like, what's the difference of an hour?
Well, the smaller the airport, usually the more expensive it is to fly there. Yeah. And so the bigger the airport, like Atlanta, you can always find.
Because I drive through Jacksonville to get to Daytona.
Jacksonville would work. Yeah. Any major city, it's cheaper to go to. Like the bigger the airport, like Atlanta, you can find flights.
I have to like drive past Daytona to get to Orlando.
Oh, yeah. No, fuck that.
So like,
we'll work it out. That's the one that we need to work out. Was Bristol Night Race? Was Bristol Night Race on your list?
No, because I go every year.
Oh, that's right. What was the next one that we both had? Brickyard 400. We clearly can't do that.
Brickyard 400. My number
Coke
2
600. You're about to go there.
I'm about to go too.
Honorable mentions, though. We both. Martinsville. We would just have to decide on night or playoff. But like I said, honestly, I don't care. Just to be able to go to Martinsville would be tight.
I would go to either. I just
same.
If I had to pick.
I just had to pick one. I thought I like night races. I like the idea of going to a night race. And then, of course, yes, you are invited. Obviously,
where does
everybody.
Chris live? Where's he close to? Daytona,
Ohio.
Yeah. So Martinsville's not even far from him.
Yeah. So everybody's invited. Come on, we like to party. Everybody come.
That Fall Dega is where it's going to be at.
So yeah, just to recap, honorable mentions: Las Vegas, Michigan, Miami, Homestead. And then 5 up to 1 was Martinsville Night Race, Coke 600, Brickyard 400 RIP, Bristol Night Race, and Daytona 500.
Hello, come right in.